Alright guys, so I got this helmet at a closing sale, 50% off. Cost me 80 bucks. It is a cheaper helmet. You can tell because there's some bad joins here, and it's already chipped here from the visor piece. Had to run a tap and die set through the top nut because it wouldn't thread properly. Here again you can see paint's kind of chipping off. But all in all, for the price, what the was that? My what? What? Is that my dog? Maya, what's the matter? What? What? What's the matter? You didn't get your dinner! Oh, no wonder you're going apeshit. Fucking apeshit. Good girl. That's fucking hilarious. Sitting outside making a video and the dog's like, what the fuck? Nobody's feeding me. Oh, shit. So anyway, yeah, 80 bucks seems like an awesome helmet. Took it out for an hour cruise already on this thing, just to see what the airflow and the noise and sight lines were like. And I can see out of this helmet really well, unlike the old helmet that I had. The old helmet I had, it came in further on the sides, so it was really hard to see like beside you and shit, because it was all blocked off. You couldn't see for shit. And also my old helmet didn't have any like noise holes or anything, so it was really hard to hear with that helmet on as well. So that's why I did the hour cruise. The airflow through this thing is awesome. Like I said, the sight lines are perfect. The helmet doesn't seem to block any of your sight. I mean, a little bit up and down, but nothing to complain about. And I was actually able to hear fairly well with this helmet on. It does tone it down a bit, but compared to the old 70s helmet that I had, this thing is amazing. So good airflow, even at low speeds like 5-10K. Great airflow. Friggin', yeah, awesome helmet. Alright, I don't know if any of you actually care, but here is the gear set for the XL 125. As you can see, I have dremeled the shift points to where they, for the most part, touch equally. I mean, it's not perfect, but what do you want for something that's done by hand? I'm not a CNC machine for... Didn't need that one anyway, or that one. So there we go, second gear should engage properly, and it's all good. So I gotta clean the engine. There's all kinds of shit in it. You can see all this shit down there. So I gotta clean the entire engine case, hose it down with engine cleaner. I mean, there's crap in the bearings. There's, just from being apart so long, that like there's a piece of fluff down in there. I don't know how the hell that got there. So I gotta clean the entire engine block and basically just buy a gasket kit for it and put it back together. So that guy's ready to go back together. We're also almost ready to put Nathan's big beefy CR250R back together. We got the clutch disc for it. It's brand new. I'll show you right now. That's the clutch disc, and it looks good. All the teeth line up and everything, so brand new clutch disc. Oh, he's working on the clutch cover because it has a dime-sized hole in it, and whoever tried to patch it before did a really poop job. So it was leaking oil everywhere, and the seals, you know. So Oh, and that's the other thing. My brother got the gasket kit and a seal kit. So he has like the shifter seals, kickstart seals. The only one we're not sure about is the water pump seal, which we do need for sure. So once he gets the cover finished, I'll start putting it all back together. Actually, scratch that. Once he gets the clutch cover finished, I have to disassemble the motor completely, take all the covers off so we can put the new gaskets in. Oh, I can't show you, but the gasket that's under here is actually a Cheerio cereal box. If I was to pull the motor out and show you, it actually says Cheerios down there. I showed my brother, it's friggin' hilarious. So I gotta pull it all apart, change all the gaskets, and I also found out that the cylinder has a couple chunks out of it where the piston was rusted to the cylinder, but we're not gonna worry about that. It's not bad enough that it should damage the piston, and because it's a two-stroke, blow-by doesn't matter anywhere near as much, because if it blows by the piston, it goes right back into the charge chamber where the intake comes from. So you're basically just forcing gas back into the intake, which will get sucked in again eventually. So as long as it has compression and power, a little bit of cylinder blow-by is not a big deal. Again, we will run this engine maybe 2 or 3 times the oil that it's rated for. So say if it's 25 to 1, we're going to run it about 10 to 1. Again, it's going to leak oil everywhere, but I'd rather have it leak oil and smoke a little bit more than it should than, you know, risk overheating and damaging the engine because it's too lean. So that's what we're going to do there. If it's smoking and puking too much, then we'll raise the fuel ratio up a bit, maybe like 16 to 1 or something. But we're gonna run it rich, just, you know, for, like I said, safety reasons, pump the oil through it. And that thing should be good. 370 I'm not gonna touch. It's running. The only thing that concerns me about the 370 is it has a weird vibration at about 4,000 RPM roughly. But I mean, that just could be because it's an old engine, and it wasn't balanced very well. So, I mean, the bike runs fine, it doesn't make any funny noises, it just has this weird vibration at about 4,000 RPM. It'll idle fine, it sounds good, you rev it up to 4,000 and the whole bike starts to shake. So, I'm not sure about that, but again, I don't think the motor's going to come apart. So, I'm just going to run it as is. I'm not going to bother putting a clutch or anything on it, or a tire, until I get it off-road at Dave's or something to figure out if I like the handling of the bike and just the way it rides. If I like the bike and the handling and the way it rides and everything, then I'm going to start putting parts in it. Clutch parts, tire, possibly a rim, because the rim is spooked. Look at that big dent right there. But I mean, I'm totally going to ride it on the rim as is. A bunch of the spokes are loose. Yeah, that one's loose. But again, I don't care. I just want to know if I like the bike. If I don't like it, I'm just going to sell it as is, running. Because it clearly runs and drives, all the brakes work. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to test it out as is, with the tire that's on it, with the clutch that's in it, and see if I like it. If I have a lot of fun with this bike, and I like the power and all the stuff, then yes, I'll put a tire, clutch, you know, mud guard, all the stuff it needs. But until then, it's going to stay as is, because if I don't like it, I'm just going to sell it. So there's no point putting a brand new clutch in it and all that shit when I can leave it for the next guy. Still worth a hell of a lot more than when I bought it, because when I bought it, it didn't even run, so. Okay, and just in case you were wondering, the 50 is perfectly fine. She's in a nice shingled, protected shed, so she's not getting dripped on or rotted out or anything like that. She's just sitting here chilling. Actually just recently ran the tank dry because the fuel was starting to go rancid, starting to turn into that good old Varsol, so I had to empty her and run it empty. So I'm not going to fill it up until we plan on running it, because I usually fill the tank right to the top put all the mothballs in it, put all the oil in it, because the friggin' oil injection thing doesn't work properly. And gonna ask a couple Honda guys if it's safe to block off the two-stroke oiler, or if I should like disassemble it completely and pull a gear out of it. So we'll see. Either way, I'm gonna disable the fuel injection just so that it's not a factor. I don't mind pre-mixing my fuel, and if I pre-mix the fuel, then I can guarantee, like 100% guarantee, that there's oil getting to the motor. The oil injection could fail at any time with no warning and completely destroy my engine. So that doesn't sound like fun to me, to be honest. So yeah, I'm gonna disable the oiler, just go with straight premix. Like I said, I usually fill the tank, so it'll take like hours, literally hours of driving to empty it. And I just run it like that. So I'm gonna disable the oiler, or reroute the oiler so that it spurts oil on the chain or something like that to make it useful. If not, then yeah, I'll take it apart, take a gear out of it so it doesn't work, and then probably just cap it off with a little wire or hose plug kind of thing, because yeah, I don't trust it. As you can check back in my old videos, when I got the bike the oiler wasn't working, and then one day when I was playing with the bike the oiler just randomly started working, so now it smokes like really bad. And yeah, I can't have that shit just stopping and starting when it fucking feels like it. So, like I said, if I premix, then I guarantee everything's good and there's oil getting to the motor. It just means I gotta fill the tank and, try and burn off all the fuel that's in her before it goes rancid.